What's up, Darkalicious? My name is Lydia.
Yeah, good G.
And today we're going to be...
Today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the combat system. And more specifically, the way the game has kind of had to pad out chapters because of just the decision to keep the entire game within the Midgar area of the planet, right?
Spoiler alert.
So obviously we're going to be talking about spoilers. I mean, you guys probably have beat the game already, or played the old one, or have some knowledge of Final Fantasy VII. If you don't, I'm sorry. Anyways, let's just jump into it. Essentially, we're not at the end of the game just yet, but we are approaching the end of the game. We're about chapter 14 or 15, but there are some parts of the game that you really feel the padded length of the game. So, for example, the one that I'm going to focus on the most spans from essentially when the cross-dressing scene, right? Right after the cross-dressing scene, all the way till the Sector 7 pillar, right? It's literally like probably 2 to 3 hours of just endless combat with no story content being slotted in there at all. There are like little, 10-second cutscenes, like a ghost shows up and Aerith, hears what they're saying or something in the train graveyard, or other stuff along the way. There's like a mini game where Tifa has to like work this sewage pump, and then when you finally arrive at the pillar, there's also like climbing up the pillar, and even if you ignore the train graveyard and the sewage section, which is easily like 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. But even if you just do the pillar, is so much dragged out content, and for a scene that essentially in the original game probably took 45 seconds to run up the pillar. 45 seconds to a minute to run up the Sector 7 pillar to get to where Barrett was and fight, is it Reno?
Reno, yeah.
Reno, right. So, in the old game, right, the train graveyard was probably like 10 to 15 minutes where you had to like get through this maze of trains, and then you would arrive at Sector 7, and then you would ascend the pillar, right? And then fight Reno. And that was like maybe 15 minutes to 20 minutes, whereas here you're talking 2 to 3 hours of essentially no story really being hit at you until you reach the top of the pillar and obviously have the showdown, right? But until then, it really grinds on you. I felt like in that part of the game, it was really grinding on you where you're like, okay, I'm getting annoyed, right?
Well, it was like, what, how many, like 3, 4, like 5 levels of pillar, and you're just like, okay,
over
it's like
and over fighting
enemies.
the same dudes, or slight variations. It's like, oh, now there's 2 of them. Okay, now there's 2 and a dog.
Now this guy like, has a hand helicopter.
Yeah, right? You're just like... You really take away the epicness of being Cloud when it's like, yo, 2 dudes with helicopters and a dog are gonna like equal Cloud. It's like, like, because there's some super cool scenes in the game where Cloud is so badass and you're just like, yeah. So this scene where especially the scene where you're ascending the pillar, I thought that was one of the worst parts of the game so far. It should have just been like Cloud's a badass and you're running up the pillar to help your teammates, and you're just barraging, the regular soldiers with the handguns. Like they literally should have been like level 1 soldiers that just you run through and slice on your way up, and it makes you feel like a badass, right? Instead, it was like, yo, we need to stop at every level to fight these dudes, and then after we fight them, we need to heal up and then take an ether because... and I only had like 6 ethers because I was not expecting like the insane drawn out amount of combat that there was. And so it's like, okay, I gotta like, ration these ethers to get up to the top of the pillar. And then when you get right near the top, you finally get a shop where you can buy them. Conveniently, there's a store on the pillar because obviously the developers knew that there was something was going to happen, that people were going to be low on items, so they're like, we better throw in a store here, right? But even the developers knew that it was like, we better throw in something here, right? So it's like, come on, guys, like that was a really poorly design section of the game, in my personal opinion. Of course, everyone is allowed to have their own opinion, but that is one part that really dragged for me. You were there watching, I mean,
like, he's a soldier first class. He should be like wiping the floor with these people, and it was like the opposite.
Right,
and
it was really dragging, and then even when Tifa comes and joins you, and the two of you are ascending the tower, it's still a slog, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, come on, just let me get to the top of the tower so we can actually have the showdown, right? And then, of course, you have the battle with Reno, and that's okay. And then Rude comes, and then that's okay.
Even the Turks are like more overpowered than they should be.
Yeah, that's partly because they, like I said, they're padding out the game, right?
Yeah, I get it.
They're padding out the game because the Midgar section of Final Fantasy VII, the original game, only took you about 6 to 8 hours to clear it. If you are like trying to rush through it, you can get through it in like 4 hours. Right? Even faster if you're like a speedrunner.
Oh, yeah.
But like in this version, it's like everything's padded out, right? So it's like run over there and talk to this person. Now run back and talk to this person. Go talk to that guy. And then, okay, now we'll let you progress to the next thing. And it's like, okay. I'm fine with it for the most part because I love Final Fantasy VII. But that one section was so padded out that I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm going crazy here. Anyways, that's really all there is to say on it. The game overall is fantastic. Ooh. I love it. I love the graphics. I love the combat. I love the way like Cloud looks when he's like barraging that sword, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're in combat and he's like in what is it? Punisher mode, yes. And he's just like with the sword, and you're like, okay, you're so freaking cool. I love this.
Yeah.
And even like playing as Tifa, there was a scene where Tifa got separated from the group, and I had to control Tifa, and I was like, whoa, this scene is so freaking cool. But there are little parts where it's padded so much that you're like, okay, come on, can we get to the next part now? Come on.
And I feel like the limit breaks, they don't give them out as much as they did in the old game.
No, they don't at all.
It's
Like in the old game, if you got hit once and it was really like a serious hit, you could go from 0 to like full limit break, right? Whereas in this game, it's like they'll give you one limit break every like hour.
Yeah, like it feels like that. And even like the limit breaks, they're not as epic as they used to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when we were playing the Hell House, right? We had
Hell House kept dodging it.
It kept dodging it. You're like, this is a limit break. Like,
this is supposed to be like one of the most epic things, and the house is just like, nope.
It's like, nah. Yeah, I didn't like that. I was just like, limit break is supposed to be like you're breaking the limits of like what you're doing.
Limit breaking power.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Goku.
It's supposed to feel like freaking like Kamehameha practically. Yeah. But it was just like, it's like, meh. It's like they don't give them out enough, and they're not powerful enough, which makes me super mad. Yeah. But whatever, that's just my opinion.
Overall, though, it's freaking fantastic, and I'm loving it, and I'm looking forward to what comes next. I'm not at the end of the game yet, but we are pretty close. I'm
just sad because it's going to be
a long wait for part 2. I have read that part 2 is in the works already, that they started it like last year, part 2. But how far along it is, who knows?
Especially with
not going to be
pandemic. It's taking a lot.
It's definitely going to be delayed because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not going to take as long as the first part because they already have all the models developed. They already have all of like the engine set up, like the game engine and all that type stuff. They just have to develop the new areas and obviously voice acting, blah 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 blah. Right. Anyways, Lydia, why don't you wrap us up for now?
Okay, guys, let us know in the comments below. What did you think of the new Final Fantasy Remake combat system? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What do you think about the limit breaks? Do you agree with me? Let us know in the comments below. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, give us a like and a share. Likes are very important for our channel. Let's get a tiny channel exposure, and we need your help to defeat Shinra. So like our stuff. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our handle is YouAreDorkalicious. We also stream live weekly on Twitch. Our handle is super_Dorkalicious. And don't forget to join our Discord. The link is in the description. Okay, guys, it's been Lydia.
Yeah, I'm Kenny G.
And it's fun dorking out with you. Bye.
Bye.